Coach, considering the stakes tonight, how pleased were you with your group's poise, the ability to hand the runs, the moment, and all the emotions of a game like tonight?
I mean, that was a big-time just team effort by committee. These guys all stepped up, played their role, did what was asked, followed the game plan. I think our defensive effort, what Coach Osborne has done with these guys in order to help them defend the right way and follow the game plan was absolutely incredible.
You guys have had your resolve tested plenty of times this year. You guys went up 22, then they cut it back down all the way to 3. Just how did your team respond to that run and ultimately build the lead that they did at the end?
Because we'd been there before. You know, I think we've been in these situations in the close games at home. Our ability to get the stops and get the runs at the right time was very big for us. But you saw the group come together on the court when they went on the run. I think we had 6-1 fouls in that third quarter. But our ability to not let that rattle us and then dig in on the defensive end and get out and get some easy baskets, now that created the momentum. Our crowd got into it, and that just propelled us.
Jamal, what kind of impact did Cole Anthony have on tonight's game, and what kind of season has it been for him?
I mean, it's been up and down for him. I mean, 26 points tonight, but just his energy, his spark, his juice, what he provides for this team coming off that bench. He plays fearlessly, and that's how we need him to continue to play. It's been up and down because there's been moments when, you know, we talked about it early in the year, he was out of the rotation, and then he found a way. The next time down, he walks himself back in and helps us win the Miami game. So that's just who he is. His resiliency, his toughness, his spark that he gives this team off the bench is just, it's what we need.
In that same vein, Cole, AB, Dell, they all had big games. It seemed like just whenever Atlanta made a run that they were one of the 3 that had an answer. Just those 3 combined, just kind of speaking for the resolve of your entire group, how vital were they?
They were big. I think AB's defense at different times was fantastic, being able to get in the passing lane, attacking the basket, getting downhill, making the right plays. I think Dell was the biggest key to this game right now. He started he started the game that way. His physicality, his presence, his rebounding, his toughness set the tone from the beginning of the game, and I think that's what we're going to continue to need from him.
Jamal, can you talk a little bit about the challenges that you've had this season with the major injuries to major players, how the next step up mentality has strengthened the team overall for players, for example, AB, who had a lot of time in the starting lineup because of injuries?
Yeah, it says a lot about the group. It says a lot about the coaches. It says a lot about these players, that there's a level of toughness and resiliency to them. And I've said it time and time again, this group is enough. No matter who's on the floor, they've proven that they're enough to do at any given time, no matter the circumstances. And what that adversity did was it created opportunity. It created opportunity for guys that might not have gotten it before, and then you're able to see guys step up. So in these big moments and big games that they've been in, we've had probably 30-plus close games. These guys have been in them, so they understand that these moments, they're enough to make the shot, they're enough to make the right play, and that's what you see these guys doing, making the right play at the right time because of what we went through early on, that they understand their confidence level and who they are and who they are to this team.
Coach, you mentioned confidence. A lot of guys stepped up today, 5 guys in double figures. What does that do for your confidence heading into the playoffs?
These guys believe in each other. They believe in what we're capable of doing. And again, this is what the adversity early on created, because you have to come together. You have to focus on what you can do in whatever circumstances you're in, and that's what these guys have proven to do. It wasn't easy. We had to figure it out, hard conversations to figure out what we need to do in order to get over the hump. We talked about home court last year, but obviously circumstances changed, and so our ability to find home court in the play-in was big. However, we have to look at it, and that's what this group has done.
KCP, an off shooting night, but it seemed like in that third quarter especially, there were a couple moments where he gathered the huddle and just kind of gave him a pep talk, like, let's hang in here. Just where do you see his impact in that aspect of just trying to be a leader when it got a little rocky there in the third?
Championship pedigree. That's what it is. Whether he's making shots or not, he's going to guard his tail off. He's going to communicate with the guys. He's going to bring the huddle together because he knows that's exactly what it takes. In a game that you said gets down to 3 points in one moment, it's easy to go the other way. It's easy to get rattled. But he's a champion for a reason, because he understands exactly what it takes in those moments, that every team's going to go on a run, and you can't get too high, you can't get too low, you have to stay the course.
Coach, you've been talking for weeks, one game at a time. Is this result of this one game somewhat of a relief? It frees you up now. You're in. It frees you up now for game planning one opponent only?
It's definitely a relief in a way, but it is, to your point, it prepared these guys for the one game and knowing how important those games are. So they weren't shocked when we've been talking about the one game since the Clippers game. I mean, it's just one game at a time, one game at a time. Figure out a way.
Yeah, Coach, the playoffs were not guaranteed for this team. Work is not done, but how much are you embracing the opportunity to get the Magic back into the postseason?
We all embraced it, and I think because of what we said happened throughout the year, the adversity that you hit and all the things that you go through, however you get there, you get there. And sometimes the path is one way, and for us it was a lot of injuries, a lot of tough nights, a lot of close games lost, but then finding a way to get the job done now. And that's the goal, is to get there, but also to make some noise in there, and not just to settle for just saying we accept just being there. Like, this group believes in what they're capable of doing on any given night.
Coach, back here. So how important was it just for you guys to knock down a couple threes tonight? As you know, you're about to go into Boston Garden and face a team that loves to shoot threes.
I mean, you're not going to try to get in the rat race with them. They shoot 53s a game. That's not our identity, and we won't try to make it our identity. But at the end of the day, for our guys to go 11 for 39 and still have 28 assists says something about this group. And for our ability to get the defensive stops, which was where we hang in our hats, that's what's created.
Coach.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Hey, Mark.
Facing the champs, your thoughts on that? One, and also just what you see from Paolo tonight.
I think it's facing the champs. It's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity to see and play against the best team in the league. And that's what I think you have to look at. From last year, they're the champs still until somebody beats them. And I think what they do and what they present is a lot of challenges, and you just have to figure out we have to find a way to figure that out. From Paolo, I think there was times they were loading up on him. I think he was trying to finding the right plays, right passes, defensively trying to get after it. I think there was little small pieces of the game that that they go unseen, but because of how teams are playing him, he was able to make the right plays at the right time. The ball going in the hole. I wish I could tell you something different, because we were getting great looks. I think there were a lot of open looks, and so for me to tell you that it wasn't moving, it wasn't going, we were getting a lot of great looks. They loaded up. We were stepping into them. They were not going in, and so we had to rely on our defense to get us out on the break to get easy baskets.
Jamal, you. Talk to me a little bit about 42 points coming on the bench, AB, Anthony. Totally different than what we have seen here with this team. 28 assists. Is that a combination that we will need in playoffs to move forward?
Absolutely. And every series is different. It was different tonight, versus Atlanta. We played them 5 times. It's going to be different against Boston. And we'll have to dissect it, figure out exactly what we need to do to score on them. But again, our defense has to, carry us, and then we'll figure out what our offense looks like as we go down.
Jamal, you've beaten them twice this year, and you beat them twice last year, Boston. What can you take from those games? Last week might be a little bit more difficult, but what can you take from those 2 victories last year and this year to try to
just know what you're capable of doing. That's one. And then the other side of it, you have to break down film and see exactly what worked, what didn't work, what hurt us, where we thrived. And I think you just have to look at that. Our coaches are going to do an unbelievable job of preparing these guys for what's coming up next and the environment that we're going to see when we get out there.
57 from the bench tonight. Last time you had your full starting lineup against Atlanta, you only had 24. Had more than that in the first half alone tonight. What does that mean for you to see that from your bench heading into the playoffs especially?
Just continue to build confidence. I think these guys have done a tremendous job of continuing to work, continue to trust the process, continue to trust each other more than anything. And that's the group that we have. We constantly say by committee. And so if your starters don't always have it going at the highest level, you've got to continue to find different ways. And I think that bench unit did a great job. And you can just see the energy and excitement for Cole, for AB, coming off the bench and playing the right way and getting it done.
Thank you, Coach Mose.
Thank you all.
Cole, considering the stakes at hand and the circumstances of the game, how pleased were you with your group's poise tonight, ability to handle the big moments?
Oh, extremely. I mean, we got off to a hot start. they went on their own run. I think cut it to 4 in the third quarter, and we weathered the storm. We didn't let them back in the game from that point on, and we kept playing our game. We got stops, we pushed the pace, and we held a really good offensive team to 90 points. So that's high level right there.
Cole, given the stakes of this contest going into it, given everything that's gone on with your season, the ups and downs that you've gone through, what did a night like tonight mean to you?
Oh, it meant a lot. It meant a lot. It was a big game. I was just I was happy to make the rotation. I'll be honest. I didn't know Mose was gonna be rocking with me tonight, but but it was this was just an awesome game to be a part of. I was just happy to be out there and do something that feel like I was contributing to the team. And so, great win. But this was a full team effort. Dell, AB, P, Franz, J.I. Everyone who stepped on the court contributed. So that's just it's a great team effort.
As a follow to that, the team effort, can you touch on just the togetherness of this team and how important that is, especially right now as you look to take on the defending champs in Boston?
Yeah, we have a really tight-knit team. We've been saying this for a while, but it's really an environment where, the person next to you wants to see you eat as much as you want to eat. And so it's when you have so many selfless dudes like that on one roster, it really, it makes the game very fun because they want to see you succeed as much as you do. And so it's an awesome thing to be a part of, and I'm grateful to be here and be in this situation and now be in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Type stuff.
Cole, congrats on the performance tonight and getting into the postseason, now back-to-back seasons. Just what are you most excited about going up against the reigning and defending champs?
It's gonna be a heck of a series, man. I know. I actually went to the championship game, the final game in Boston. Went last year. I actually went because my sister she goes to school in Boston. What's up, buddy? I thought you was waving at my fault, but and so I got to really see how that environment was firsthand, and that is probably the craziest environment of a game I've seen. And so I can't wait to get out there. I can't wait to play. I'm excited for this team, man. We have a great opportunity ahead of us, and I know everyone's excited, and I know we're not going to take this for granted.
For you, what seemed to get clicking for you in that fourth quarter, especially like what about this environment, about this game really met your eye or worked for you?
Man, I found myself in a situation where the ball was in my hands. I was fortunate enough to have some teammates who put me in a situation where I was able to get some easy shots. I was in a situation where I could get them a few easy shots, and I just felt good. It had been a great game, and this is for us. This was a game where we didn't want to let this go. This is dang near one and done. Obviously, we would have had an opportunity if we would have lost tonight, but for us, there wasn't a losing tonight. That wasn't an option.
Congratulations on a big game and a huge win. How much do you think that this playing experience helped you get into a playoff mode, a playoff vibe?
I think this is a great warm-up game as we don't play till Saturday or Sunday. I don't know when it is, but we got a few days of rest, kind of recoup, get some practices in. But I think for us this was a great start for our playoff run because that environment out there tonight was crazy. Big shout out to the fans. I'm always show love to the fans out here in the O. And they did a great job, man. They were active the whole night when we were up big, when the game got close. They were awesome. Yeah, that's a playoff environment right there. Obviously, it's going to be a little more hostile when we head up to Boston, but you can't ask for a better warm-up game than that.
Cole, what's the matchup like against a team that shoots 53s a game?
We want to limit their threes. I think that's going to be the main thing. But they obviously have several dudes on that team who are capable. But so do we. So it's gonna. They obviously they didn't win a championship already. They've done what we want to do. And so I think for us it's just going to be a great opportunity. And I think, as I said, we're all super excited going into this series. And it's going to be a good one. I just can't wait to get out there.
Cole, you said you didn't know when you were going to be if you were going to be in that rotation tonight. When did you find out that you were going to be, and how does it feel to get that trust from
All right, maybe
Mose?
I was capping a little bit saying I wasn't going to. But let me tell you what it is. I had dinner with my pops when we was in Atlanta on Saturday, and he was dead you might not be in that rotation. And I was just like, what a dad. What a dad. That was the only, but nah, I was blessed enough to be able to play tonight, and I've been, as y'all have said, it's been an up and down year, and I'm just extremely grateful to be in a situation that not just I'm in, but as a team where we're blessed enough to be in the playoffs again. Because there are several teams in this league who don't make it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm excited to be here, man. This is a great opportunity, and I just can't wait to capitalize.
Hey, Cole, now I'm waving to you.
My dog,
What's
up? Talk to me.
All right, you're saying you guys can eat as much as you want. When you're out there cooking like that, when you're hitting big shots, you're getting other guys the ball, big assists, how much fun is it out there to perform like that in such a big stage?
Hey, I like him. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like him. He got good energy. But that's it was I had a blast out there, man. When you can really get in the flow, when you can, go out there and really feel like you're feeling like play like you're not like, but play freely. It really opens up the game. And tonight, I just went out there, free mind, and just try to have as much fun as I could. And that's what happened tonight. We got a great team win. I had a decent performance, and 7 seed. Let's work. Thank you.
P, considering the stakes and the way the game went, how pleased were you with your group's poise tonight amidst all the circumstances?
Yeah, I thought we did a good job of just keeping everyone, under control, calm. There were some moments where, one or two guys would get frustrated at the ref, or, maybe frustrated with each other real quick, and guys just were able to, tell each other to, relax, regroup, and shake it off quickly. And that's just what a good team does. That's what a tight locker room does, and we were able to do that.
Paolo, what was tonight like for you working through some of this game, some of the lulls and some of the highs through it? What was this game like for you?
I mean, it was a fun game, a big-time game. It was just a unique type of challenge. I was interested to see how they were going to try to guard me. And so in the first quarter, I thought I did a good job of, getting my teammates involved, moving the ball, and, guys got going. And so, those guys carried us throughout the game. Anthony Black, Dale, Cole, obviously. I thought J.I. came in, played huge. Gary, just everyone who stepped in, made plays and made my job easy.
We've heard everyone say that you guys play by committee to see all those guys step up in a big moment like this, in a big game like this, especially when the defense is so loaded up against you. What does that mean to you as a teammate, as someone that carries a big load for this team, to see others kind of pick it up like that when the ball swings to them like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I trust them 100%. I think the whole team, Franz, everybody trusts these guys to make plays. That's why we're swinging them the ball. And, those guys are all great players. So when you swing them the ball and they're open, they're going to knock down those shots or create a problem. And the more confidence they get, the more we're rolling. And so I think you just saw that with guys getting, easy looks early, and then it translated into them, making a lot more plays throughout the game.
As the game went on, you didn't really have to be the main ball carrier coming down to the top of the key. You were able to set screens later on in the game for other guys. The bench was really starting to help you out. When you don't have to be the main guy at the top of the key, does that help you relax a little more to, find your shots and really be a huge asset for the team?
Yeah, definitely. Every game's different. And so, first 3 times we've played these guys, I've had big games. And so coming in, I kind of was interested, like I said, to see if they were going to just let me play one-on-one like they had before. And so when I saw that they were loading up and doubling and trapping, I knew that guys were going to be open and guys were going to get open looks. And so that's just what I told guys was, once you get the ball, attack, whether it's a catch and shoot, off the dribble. And then, like you said, just throwing it ahead to guys too. We got guys, Anthony Black, Cole especially, that are great in transition, on the run. And so when me or anyone gets the rebound, just throw it ahead to those guys and let them, make a play.
Paolo, pregame Quinn Snyder mentioned not fouling you too much and having you get to the line to increase your efficiency. I thought that was interesting just because it's been up and down a little bit for you in the beginning of the season with the free throws, and then you've gotten a lot better recently. What does it say about sort of, him saying that and coaches and other opposing teams sort of respecting you at the free throw line and, being able to get to the line like you did tonight and knock them down?
Yeah, I mean, that was really what carried me tonight was getting to the free throw line. Able to knock down most of my free throws. Just keeping me in rhythm. Even though I didn't have a good night shooting, I still felt involved in the game. I still felt, like I was, able to, make plays. And part of that was me being able to get fouled. So that's something that, I know I can lean on game to game. And even if teams are loaded up and trying to, get the ball out of my hands, I can still take advantage of certain opportunities and get downhill and get to the line.
Paolo, you've talked about in the past your relationship with Jason Tatum kind of going back a couple of years now. Just how has that relationship kind of grown over the years, and now getting an opportunity to go against him and the defending champs in the first round? What are you looking forward to with that matchup?
Yeah, I've known Jason since I was going into college. I see him every summer. So the guy that I'm very familiar with. One of the guys I go to for advice and stuff like that. But obviously now we're competing, and I think the best way for me to show my respect is to give him my best effort and go at him as much as I can. So I'm excited for the matchup, and I'm just excited to be in the playoffs in general. We had an up and down season, so the fact that we're able to clinch 7th seed with this game and give ourselves a chance to go into Boston and make some noise, I'm just happy about that. But definitely looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, Paolo, I was going to ask you what this means, the fact that you guys were able to clinch tonight instead of Friday. How does that extra time help? And also just being back in the playoffs, what does that mean?
Yeah, the extra time definitely does help because now we know who we're playing. We know what we're walking into, so we have time to prepare rather than having to prepare for another game and then prepare for another team after that. So that's big for us. Guys get off their feet, rest, recover, get ready for game one. And yeah, just to get back to the playoffs, it's huge accomplishment for this team. We've had a lot of ups and downs this year, injuries, losses, just a lot. So, the fact that we've been able to stay resilient and fight through just shows the character that we got back in that locker room, top to bottom. And, just shows that, we have a lot of guys that, are able to step up. And so just really happy for the whole group.
Paul, as a leader of this team, a lot of guys went down, and you got Cody Joseph playing the point, veteran, probably the third, fourth point guard of this team. Take us through how good you guys are when he's out there using his play.
Yeah. Corey stepped in right away, when his number was first called, when guys were out, and, he elevated our team, from the first game he played, just with, his calming presence and the way he's able to, get guys the ball in spots that they know they like, and he's always talking, he's always communicating, so if something doesn't go right, he's not just gonna let it be. He's gonna go to you, come to you, and figure it out on the spot. And so having a veteran like that with a young team, it helps more than anyone really knows, because sometimes as a young team, maybe you wait too long to figure something out, and by the time you're already down or whatever, and he just addresses things as they happen. So, and on top of that, he's a really good player. Just knocks shots down, always making the right play, doesn't turn the ball over. It's more solid than you would think on defense, just with the way he's in great position, and he's had 13 years of experience. So there's nothing he hasn't seen in the league, and that helps us every day.
Paulo, what's it like to play a team that likes to take 53s a game in terms of Boston?
That's a team that we play 4 times a year. We're familiar with their style. They got a ton of shooters all throughout the lineup, in the starting lineup and on the bench. And so we know that's going to have to be a point of emphasis, running them off the line. But also, you got to be at the rim too, because they got guys that can drive and make plays. But, the threes are what kill you. They take a lot of them. So, that's something that we're going to be probably focused on this week, is just how can we limit that? How can we take away some of those easier looks, make it tough on them. But, I think we'll figure that out more this week.
Bill, considering the circumstances tonight and what was at stake, how pleased were you with your group's poise, the ability to handle those emotions and even withstand some of their runs?
That's something that we've struggled with all year, including myself, getting caught up in the emotions of the game, understanding that, referees are not perfect, or, we're going to make mistakes. It's just about how we respond. I think we did a really good job of that. It's a little bit more we can clean up, including myself, but I think you kind of give or take, with the passion and the fight that we play with every night. I think, it's kind of a two-side fold for sure.
The Hawks got your lead down to 3 points there in the third quarter. What does it say about this team and the way that you guys respond to adversity, that you were able to pull away in the fourth quarter and kind of reestablish yourselves?
Understanding not to get comfortable. I think we got a little comfortable in that third quarter. And then on the other side of it, they're an NBA team too with really talented players. You're never going to shut a team out, especially when the stakes are like this, playing for something as important as the 7th seed in the playoffs. So understanding that, understanding, they're going to go on that run, just weathering that storm. I think we did a really good job of responding, locking back in on the defensive end, and then whatever happened on the offensive end happened.
You guys have faced your share of adversity throughout the course of this season. How much did that maybe prepare you for kind of the ups and downs of this game and to come through at the end?
In my opinion, especially later in this season, we've had a lot of, Coach did a really good job of throughout the season making every game feel like a playoff game. It was a stretch where he was making every 7 games feel like, this is the first game of the series, this is the second game. And it was more of a mental thing that helping us prepare for it. So, dropping the first game, understand we got to win the second game and things like that. I think it just gave us a mental vision of, how the playoffs will work for us. So I give a lot of credit to the coaching staff for sure with that.
Talk about the spark that Cole and AB had coming off the bench and what it did for this team and y'all's confidence to be able to grab that win.
One thing we've always tried to tell AB is when he's aggressive and playing hard, it makes our team so much better. Getting downhill, attacking the basket, taking his open shots from 3. And then Cole, we all know how Cole is. Cole is one of those guys you can throw him out there up 10, down 10, and he can change the whole perspective of the game. He's a gamer. He's a guy that, no matter the situation, he's going to rise to the occasion and try to figure out a way to help this team win. So, those 2 guys did a really, really fantastic job of just helping us, especially in that third quarter, regain our momentum.
5 offensive rebounds tonight for you. It seems like a lot on a couple of those, it was leading to an and one or a big shift in the game. Yeah. How much do you pride yourself on making those moments and those impacts, those shifts based on your physical performance in the paint?
Understanding what this team needs. With my role on this team has changed a little bit, throughout the seasons of me being here, and just locking in on what can help this team, and that's something I feel like can, no matter what's going on in the game, can help change the momentum of a game. Whether it's we're already having momentum and I'm adding to it, or we're down and trying to fight back. So that's something I'm just starting to pride myself on a little bit more. And then also being in the playoffs, that's another aspect of it where it's every game, every possession is very important. So that's just something I'm just kind of trying to lock in on.
Wendell, 2 questions. One, can you talk about the matchup with Boston? And secondly, I know this is a throwback, but how close were you to signing with Harvard?
So the first one, Boston is they're the reigning champs. They're I'm sure they're trying to do it again this year. It's going to be a really great challenge for us. They got a lot of scorers on that team. From the point guard to the center. I think it's going to be a very defensive-minded series for us. It's going to challenge us on the defensive end. Then offensively, I feel like we can. We're clicking all our cylinders. We can compete with any team in this league. So I think it'll be a great opportunity for us just to learn and do what we can in that series for sure. And then to answer your question, the second question, my mom and dad both wanted me to go to Harvard. So that's how close I was. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, would I've been a one and done? Would I've stayed all 4 years? Would I've got my degree? Would I be in this position? Would I've ever, what I'm saying? All those things kind of go through my head, but ultimately I think I made the right decision for sure.
with how much Atlanta's defense loaded up on Paolo and Franz today. How critical was it for you to step in and find your scoring for Cole, for AB, for all the other guys, for all the rest of the team to kind of fill in that gap in this game tonight?
That's gonna be the name of the playoffs for us. You know, those two guys are so talented offensively. I don't think one guy can guard, straight up those two guys. So they're gonna have to load to the ball, and we're gonna have to play off of closeouts, play off of dump offs, things like that. That's gonna be what makes or breaks our offense, in my opinion. So that's something that a lot of focus, has been on when it comes to playing on the offensive end. Just playing off of the advantages that they create for us. So that's something that, throughout the whole playoffs is something that we're going to have to be really good at.
Since you got here, you talked about the importance of playoffs. For this group to now be in the playoffs 2 years in a row, what does that accomplishment mean to you about the growth of this group?
Man, it means a lot. I was here when, we was one of the worst teams in the league in terms of record-wise to now, the expectation is being in the playoffs. We wanted to do a little bit better throughout the regular season this year. We wanted to improve on last season, but, with the injuries, the ups and downs of the season, the emotional, the mental toll, everything that everyone was going through, I think we were very resilient and figured out a way to, make the best of the season. So now we're here, and now we just got to try to figure it out. Yep.